the leg as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you run from the law, you're going to end up going to jail tired.
Yeah.
So you need to give that some serious consideration. Gotcha. They know who you are. Where are you going to run? Where are you going to hide? Best to get it behind you. Dummies.
Dopes. I would just be afraid that they're going to use the taser.
Oh yeah.
Taser.
What's real weird these days? You see some of these people obviously stoned.
Yeah.
On TV, some of those shows, they say, "Go ahead, tase me," and there are a couple of them when they do that, they reach down there and grab that sucker and pull it out of them. Well, when the taser don't do the job, out come the stick, and they might even use pepper. A stick and pepper together is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the one good thing about pepper, if you've got sinus issues, they will be cleared for years to come.
And back in the day, the pepper spray is not like what it is now. Back in the day,
the
they
mace
used,
back then.
Yes, it was like an oil-based mace. And
you know why it's oil based? So when you're sweating from running, it sticks to your skin.
It was bad stuff.
The guys downtown in Jacksonville who got out in the street like to fight, the first thing they do is they rip their shirts off in July, and the sweat's pouring, and then and it just sticks, and it stays until it wears out. That takes a while. But the peppers, in those days, you just, hose them down a little bit, maybe. Mm-hmm. And today they have to call EMS to come and treat them. That's a lot of people don't even like using pepper spray because of that. And some of it's going to get on you. I hated putting a guy in a car with mace on him. I can't imagine putting him in my car. Well, no. Trunk, maybe.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bumpy ride, y'all. For you, not me. No.
All right. I had to, YouTube started acting up, so I had to go to a new stream. So, but people are right on it. So we'll see.
So we're back on YouTube?
Back on YouTube. But YouTube
should I repeat everything that I've already said?
Robert.
No, that was only for the moment.
Instant replay.
And when I went to YouTube, it was hung up on my end, and just to make sure that it wasn't just me, I text some other people, and they said, "Yeah, it's hung up." So it's good now.
Well, that's good. It's good. I'm glad it's good now. Where was it? The ice guys had the ice ages having problems. They got their tires slashed during some races, but that probably the left coast, right?
Well, let's see. Chicago don't want them.
Well, nobody wants them that's got guilty people hanging around and, possible voters for the party of choice.
Well, I'm speaking more of the mayors, governors, and the people that say that their citizens don't want it. The citizens that are being affected by these people, yes, they do want. They want help.
The victims of these illegals, they would like to have some relief. But more than 100 demonstrators swooped down on ICE vehicles. They were after roofers. One of the things, not roofies. They were going after roofers. Apparently, in that industry, there's, I guess, some illegals working.
Yeah, Fort Fisher posted that. Let me see what he said.
This is up in New York.
Yeah, he was posting about that last night.
Agents, roofers, and protesters ended with officials leaving the scene, had their tires slashed. You know what? No, beanbags. Just put some agents surrounding your car. When you leave, some guys out there surrounding it with beanbags. And I'm not talking about the chairs. I'm talking about those that come out of a 12 gauge. Ooh. They will knock you on your butt, and you will have bruises. There's no problem with that. Anyway, confrontation occurred at a residential job site where one worker was detained and others refused to come down from a rooftop. That was in Rochester's Park Avenue.
Wow.
You stay on the roof, how long could you stay there? I got all night. I can call in some breakfast, some dinner.
My
On a
roof
roof?
is slick.
Well, that's one of
And a
the.
fire department with 2.5-inch lines.
If
It's going to make it miserable up there for you.
if I could, or I'll take anybody's suggestions. You know how the law enforcement here will sit on a roof to raise money for their.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so I thought about doing that for Wreaths Across America. If I could find the most popular place. I know everyone's going to say Wally World.
I was going to say Golden Corral.
That's
Saturday
not
morning.
bad.
I could ask Billy
For
about
breakfast.
that. Yeah. And just sit up there for a couple of days and nights.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
24 hours, I think,
You
would
think?
be enough.
You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 24
what
hours.
would be the best time? Would it be? We got the fall coming on, so you got some decent weather.
Oh, I'm not worried about the weather.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it's 900 degrees, it just makes you miserable.
Me?
Yeah.
Not me.
Oh,
Oh, I love heat. Yeah, bring it on. This temperature is nice. Don't get Lee. I know. This. I need some heat. I haven't had any heat these days.
well, when you
Okay.
get up there, we'll find you maybe a heating pad
Oh no. Okay.
and maybe some pocket warmers or something.
But do that. I thank you, Cindy Hines, for your donation. She bought 2 wreaths yesterday.
Yay.
But yeah, sit up there and
Okay, we
hold
need
a bucket down.
for the two. Well, over a weekend, you could probably get a bucket lift from one of the rental companies
Yeah.
to let you stay in that. Now, let me ask you a personal
ahead.
question. What you going to do with the personal stuff that you got to get rid of?
Hold it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. Not the healthiest thing to do.
No.
I thought, no. Well, surely I would get a 5-minute break once in a while.
Oh.
You brought a
Look out below.
you brought a crematorium. It just yesterday I saw the ad and I wish I could find it.
Crematorium?
No, you were talking
What
about
have you done wrong now?
burning up bodies or whatever. What was it you just said not long ago about something about burning?
He was talking about me being up on a roof and what am I going to do when I've got to let go?
No, there was something you said just a few minutes earlier, and it just made me think of this ad that I saw because I almost popped out with it at that moment.
Well, we talked about mace, pepper spray,
No, it was I don't remember.
tasers.
And it was just that quick. You made a comment, and it went right to my head. That ad I saw yesterday about a crematorium that had put out an ad said where cremation is our main focus, and I'm thinking, well, what else would you be doing there?
Cooking.
I mean, let's do a pedicure before we cremate you. I mean, I just thought the whole ad was really strange. You just made a comment.
I have no clue.
I have no clue
Nothing is coming back. And I have a backup over here, and nothing is on his mind either.
It's because y'all don't pay attention to me.
Oh, I thought
Apparently, it wasn't you that was saying.
we went from you. We were frozen on you.
Let's go offshore where there is a little bit of Saturday left in this world.
I can do weather. Go ahead.
Ooh, looking at the marine forecast out to 20 nautical miles, low pressure will move north and pass just offshore of eastern North Carolina through later today. All day long, this message should be passing and moving on. High pressure will then build back in from the north and west through late in the week. Today, small craft advisory is in effect through this afternoon. Northerly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet, 9 seconds apart. 3 to 4 footers near shore. That means they're going to be kind of on the choppy side, sloppy. Sounds and rivers choppy. Thursday, tomorrow, northerly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Friday, 15 to 20 knot northeasterly winds. Gust up to 25 in the afternoon. 3 to 5 footers, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers are going to be choppy.
today on this beautiful hump day. Mostly cloudy with a high near 79. North wind 7 to 11 miles per hour with gust to high is 18. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 64. Thursday, a slight chance of an afternoon shower, partly sunny with a high near 82. And Friday, football Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 82. Yeah. Do you notice over the weekend you're supposed to sit down into the 50s one night?
Huh?
I can hardly
Yes. Like, I don't mind that during the night, but during the day, get in the 90s.
We were having some 50s up until
Chris.
just a couple of days ago, early morning hours.
That was it, Chris. It's hot. It's enough to burn you up.
How?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
One woman in eastern North Carolina last week found out it's not nice to scam old people.
No,
We don't like people who do that. Those of us who owe really don't like you. 37-year-old Crystal Anderson is in jail, been charged with scamming $40,000 from an elderly woman that she was caring for. Wayne County deputies investigated a case of financial deception of an elder adult. They discovered the money was taken from the woman's bank account, taking small amounts of money at a time over several months. Anderson is from LaGrange, that's in Lador County, and she faces felony charges of exploitation of an older adult, and 197 counts of felony obtaining property by false pretenses. Yep,
Good.
you heard me right.
For every penny.
197 additional
Good.
felonies. 2 more with the exploitation of an older adult, and she could break 200. Why don't she just try a couple more? The money she's accused of scamming is about a third of the amount of the cash it will be required to bail her out of jail, where she's chilling with the other inmates in Wayne County under $140,000
It's not enough.
I'm sorry.
It's not enough.
197 felonies, and what's the bond?
$140,000.
That's awful low.
I don't know that she's got any money, because I'm sure everything she's got, her bank accounts and everything else, have been frozen.
We hope.
Oh, I'm sure.
Back to school can be tough for a lot of kids who have been chilling during the summer vacation.
Yes, it can.
It's also a challenge for some school teachers. Take Alina Chabot of Clinton, a teacher at a Lenoir County middle school. So she drove from Sampson County, Clinton is in Sampson County, to Lenoir County to the middle school to teach. I guess that would be enough of a stressful situation. She's accused of being drunk in class on the second day of school, manhandled a couple of kids.
Drunk.
Really?
Drunk.
She was drunk on the second day of school. School resource officer was called. She was charged with misdemeanor disorderly conduct on school property and misdemeanor intoxicated and disruptive behavior.
Whoa.
Chabot taught at E.B. Frink Middle School in LaGrange, and deputies say a school resource officer was notified that she was suspected of being intoxicated at work. That was on August 26th. An open container of alcohol was found in her purse.
Seriously?
An open container of alcohol was found in her purse, probably a little mini bottle,
Probably a
whatever,
flask or something.
or a flask.
Yeah.
And that was, and she also had some prescription meds.
It kind
I
of looked
assume they
like
were
cough
for her.
medicine.
Warrant says she was too drunk to teach school.
Wow.
So this was on the 26th. Back up 4 days. Her first day on the job was the 22nd. The 26th was the second day of school.
Right.
She went to work on the 22nd,
Right.
started teaching on the 28th, 24th, 24th.
Right. And was arrested on the 26th.
On the second day, she was arrested.
Yep. It
She didn't
says
waste a whole lot of time, did she?
she was
No.
employed technically before school started from August 17th through
Was-
August 26th. 9 days.
Wow.
What was your last job?
Well,
I
then-
was a teacher for 9 days.
I
Why'd
don't think
you
she has to
leave?
worry about it.
I would not even
those-
put that on an
I couldn't
application.
even put up with those kids. You know, they were such rough kids. I just had a bad time with them. And I just chose,
I had to get my cough
they were
medicine
from
out.
LaGrange. And you've heard about
Mhm.
LaGrange, right? Huh? Really bad.
Yep.
And she was, what, 32 years old?
I did not know her age. I knew she was young. I did not see her age in the story.
I don't think that's what she
Just
was.
wondering if she arrived at school that way, because if she did, then why wouldn't she charge with DWI
it's like,
or
well,
DUI?
you do-
30-minute,
you can't
40-minute
prove
drive?
when she took her first
Right.
drink, it would have put her over the limit, over the minimum,
Yeah.
So, I mean, she could arrive with and had some stuff, but an open container would have indicated she was probably nipping back in the teacher's lounge or something.
Nips it.
Wow.
I mean, it'd be hard to
I mean-
prove that.
Yeah.
You find them in the car, and even though they're not driving,
It's
and the
still
car is pulled over on the shoulder of the road, the presumption is, and the courts have upheld it, that the presumption is you were driving. Now, if you can convince a judge and a jury that no, I pulled over because I had a flat tire and I had it and I just started drinking. Well, you can get them for open container, you can get them for whatever, but you're trying to prove then that they were drunk while they were behind the wheel before they pulled over with a flat tire, it'll be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
That's, those are the things you have to weigh when you start.
You said
Deal with
hers was $140,000
Things
bond?
140.
no. Oh, the
No,
teacher?
No, she took $40,000.
No, but was
Oh,
her
no, no,
bond $140,000?
No.
The-
What was
I
her
was-
bond?
I don't know what the bond was.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
It's all misdemeanor stuff.
All
yeah,
right.
no.
No, the other lady that
The scammer was
Yeah.
197 with
Lord have mercy.
197 felony
go put some
for
ex-
40,000.
I need to put some
bond.
espresso in my coffee.
I was listening to a lot of numbers last night and I got confused too.
Well, here's a number for you.
Oh, yeah.
You ready?
Oh,
63.
1963?
No.
63,000.
Nope.
63 cents.
No.
63 years of
Age.
age?
There you go.
Okay, that's about the only thing
To
that's left.
our Senator Mike Lazara from us.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
To you.
Happy birthday,
Dear Mikey.
Mikey.
Michael,
Happy
happy
birthday to you.
birthday to you.
Bless you.
How are your vital signs doing, Michael?
Well, after hearing that, they're probably really high.
I
will-
one half second, but
I
you
will-
grabbed it
That
I
immediately.
knew
was a
exactly
good
what you-
one.
Yeah.
That was a good one, Rafe.
Oh, for you folks who don't know, I wasn't being
Yeah.
mean. He has a company called Vital Signs, and they produce signs. So I just saw the humor in that.
That's a pizza humor.
Ray, are you positive before I send him a message?
All right, we should.
It is.
have,
Would I say that if it wasn't?
Rosemary Stein. Are you sure it's his birthday?
I am. Well, it came up on my Facebook page, and I said,
Oh, you
"Happy
can. You
birthday."
can believe
he
everything
just
on
he just posted about what happened in Charlotte is beyond heartbreaking. It's
there. Oh
outrageous.
God, yes.
The brutal murder of an innocent woman has stolen a precious life and left families devastated once again by violent criminals who have no respect for law, life, or our communities. Our heartfelt prayers are with the family during this unimaginable time of loss. May they find strength and comfort in the days ahead. This cannot continue. North Carolina must send a clear message. If you commit a violent crime, you will be held fully accountable. We must strengthen our laws to ensure criminals face real consequences, not a revolving door of leniency
Michael,
that puts our citizens at rest.
Michael, I've told you and I've told others in the Senate and the House. I know that they will be vetoed, but let it fall upon the people who do the vetoing.
Mhm.
You need to resurrect. You need to implement. There is no such thing. It's not on hold. It is on hold because it's on political hold. But justice has not been served for 120 plus inmates in North Carolina. They're sitting there waiting on death row and waiting and celebrating because they know they're never going to be executed. Even though 12 jurors said that they needed to be. They were found guilty of the most heinous crimes available and by the most heinous means available. You walk up and you shoot somebody in the head and they die instantly, probably not going to get the death penalty. If you torture them, you're going to be given the death penalty. If you start shooting them in the feet and start working your way up, you're going to be given the death penalty. Those are what are called heinous crimes. If you lie in wait, waiting for the person to show up, and you kill that person, like on a track, at around a school, where the people go and exercise and run around the track, and you wait for them and you take them, or you kidnap them and you hold them, and then you rape them and you kill them, you're going to be executed, or you're supposed to be. You're going to be given the death penalty. So it's time. They have, these people that are there have been judged by 12 other individuals who know more about it than all the combined senators that we have, and all the combined House members that we have, and definitely the governor and the attorney general. These people know the full details of what happened to each and every one of those individuals and how badly they were treated. So why do we have mortal humans who are only elected by popular vote making a decision not to carry through what 12 people said is justice? Okay, now we're going to go talk about little kitties. And
they are little kitties.
And they are little kitties, and we hope that these little kitties are going to grow up to be nice big adults and happy people. And Dr. Rosemary Stein, she has to treat some of these little kitties on a regular basis because she's a pediatrician, but she's way beyond the medical part of being a pediatrician. She's concerned about their welfare as well. Right. Their daily plight in life, right?
Good morning. That's correct. Well, I think as a nation, we've given this story, this incident, altogether a lot of thought. And to me, it was a shock that this had occurred 2 weeks prior to our finding out about it. It's a terrible story, but I think the fact that it was, I believe, hidden in our own state, and we didn't know about it. The fact that some monster is allowed to be in public together with people that are decent, like this young lady.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that.
The fact that a whole bunch of people were together with during this incident and didn't raise their hands to do anything. The men could have rushed the guy and protected her, or even tied him down afterwards. Somebody could have called the ambulance and made sure that she got care. At least she felt loved in her last moments, but she was going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
It was a total failure of America. But as you guys know, I always take it back to our parents. I mean, what are we doing every day to make sure that we don't raise such monsters?
Yeah.
How are we sacrificing and not giving in to our children, being a completely complacent, I don't want any trouble from this kid, so I do this, or neglect the child, so that we don't grow monsters in our own home. Our home should be a breeding place of good humans, not of monsters. And we're all looking at the judges. This guy was in his 30s. He has a mom who's probably my age or younger, who's around. Where is she to step up and say, I am so sorry, guys. I thought I was doing a good job, or I'm going to bury myself in a hole. I never want to be seen again.
Well,
where is she? Even when our kids are in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, we're still moms. We still give advice. We try our best. But this person failed us. Let's not be failures, guys. Let's not be failures. We have to work harder for our children and therefore protect the rest of Americans.
Well, Dr. Rose, I read an article that said his mother has already said he had some mental issues, and now she's the mother. And if she is saying that she's known he's had mental issues and did nothing to help him,
she's trying to save him from being executed and at least take some of the blame off of her for whatever she did not do, failed to do, and raising this rugrat.
Good old spanking would have worked.
Mental issues doesn't absolve us from horrible crimes. Maybe from taking somebody's property or being out on the streets. I can understand that. And even at that, we can get our stuff together and say, I'm going to be a better person than this. I know that I have a lot going on in my head, but people are counting on me. And that counts for most of us. Yeah, there's some of us and some people that have issues that are beyond that. But that still does not absolve us. Does not check off the list of, oh, okay, that's why they're a murderer. And if they are a murderer to that degree, then it's up to our system to identify that person and make sure that they are not a threat to society. And that mom steps up and says, I've tried everything. I've given my tears and my blood for this kid, but I think he's a danger. And so her words don't really touch me the way that a lot of moms' words do.
When the police arrive on a scene, like occurred back in August the 22nd, I think the date was, when the police arrive on that scene and they find a guy there with a knife and he's sitting there sitting in the blood, giggling and carrying on and doing whatever, then, mental illness can be presumed to be a serious issue for what he did. He didn't try to get away. If the guy has taken off running after committing a crime, he knew that what he did was wrong, right?
Yeah.
That's that.
He doesn't even have a conscience.
As far as the law is concerned, when you know that what you've done could get you arrested, jailed, executed, or whatever, and you run away, then you knew right from wrong. And that's all the law really cares about.
And that's a mistake, because these people should not be walking among our children and grandchildren and ourselves.
Nope. They should not.
They should be removed from society. And we, especially as parents, we should do everything possible to not let it get to that. To piece by piece, Lego build by Lego build, not to raise a monster. If we're raising that in our home, then we need to access some help before we put them outside of our house. And that didn't happen. And I think that's the biggest failure of all, is that when this is a regular thing. How about all the people that were sitting around? What happened there? I'd be ashamed that if I had raised one of the people who just sat there and cowered or didn't help her after she was stabbed, because he might stab me. I mean, it's just not the way that society should work.
Well, they should have gone to her aid, but he took off. He took off pretty quickly. And somebody with a knife that you just watched stab repeatedly a young lady, a 23-year-old, to death, leaving her gurgling in the aisle with the floor. You probably, unless you're really prepared, you probably don't want to have to get involved in a case like that until after you're safe. But then you really should be stepping up to the plate.
Well, you should. And Dr. Rhodes, we were talking yesterday, and I mentioned that a newscaster was so upset about a story she was covering because the people there were not helping. They were videotaping it.
Yeah, we see that all the time.
Yeah, and I think they want that 15 seconds of fame to be interviewed by some reporter to get on TV to go, well, this is what I saw. Here's my question to you. What did you do?
What did you do to help?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, exactly. It's a big part of the same failure. I mean, we failed this young lady, and I say we because it's America, and at so many different levels. And all you can see if you're a mom or a grandma is your kid. Pretty young lady. Yeah, she could get all dressed up and look gorgeous like a model, but sitting there so frail. And
so
she's looking at her phone. She just reminds us of our children and grandchildren, and it breaks our heart to see that. But I would never let Hannah get into a Charlotte metro again after that. And it's sounds silly.
Well,
here I am, a doctor and a scientist first, and then a doctor. And I wouldn't let her get on there. She would be like, "Mom, that only happened once," and I'm like, "No, that's enough." I don't want to have to worry about that ever again until they are sure that they have cleaned that stuff up.
Now, you brought it up in the very beginning here about, this happened, and we didn't seem to learn anything about it for a long, long time. Now, do you understand why? Let me explain to you why. The mayor of Charlotte said, "I'm so glad this didn't come out earlier. I'm so glad that, I was hoping it just wouldn't come out and paint us in a bad light." No, it's because you were running for re-election. Yes, she was running for re-election.
Oh, yes, she is.
And she was re-elected. Got the Democratic nod. She's the mayor again.
She just won the primary.
Yes.
Democratic primary.
Yes. Ugh. Now you know the story.
Yep, exactly. And then there were many others too. I mean, our governor Josh Stein played a hand in how laws were made. Our former governor, Governor Cooper, played a hand in all of this.
Yep.
And so I'm afraid that many people turned a blind eye and said this didn't really happen. If we ignore it, maybe it'll never come out.
Yeah.
But it has stunned the nation. It got much, much bigger than anybody thought it would because it's touched our hearts. And all of the pictures just make us gasp. Just thinking of this young girl just minding her own business and getting stabbed while other people watched and allowed this to happen.
Yeah, she left home. She left with her family because of the war in Ukraine, the Putin war in Ukraine, where Putin and his band of thugs have been killing people, citizens and everybody in Ukraine. So the family of this young lady, they decided, let's get the heck out of Dodge. And they came to Charlotte. They chose Charlotte, North Carolina, as a place for her to die instead of Ukraine.
And it breaks our hearts.
It does.
And we should. I would think that we should be seeing mom and dad on TV and in the news saying, "Guys, we got to clean this up." I brought her to America to be safe, and this is what happens on our streets.
Yeah.
We would have stayed at home and taken our chances. Maybe my daughter would be alive, and maybe that will send us into, we got to do it right. The justice system has to be better. Our political system has to be much better, and our parenting job has to save our kids. And that's what I talk about day in and day and night. We cannot raise good kids without complete and utter sacrifice of ourselves.
Well, somebody among us, we the people, all of us, we're going to have to band together, and we're going to have to demand, or we're going to have to remove. The choice is yours, Mr. Senator, Mr. Congressperson, House of Representatives, state, go to the federal. The choice is yours. Whether we remove you or whether you do things our way. We are the people. We brought you into this world, to coin a phrase that was used on TV. We can take you out
Of that position.
Well,
good, no, that's
Just in case.
Good reminder. I thought the same.
Whatever.
Remember? Well, no, Rayford, because remember when I said I would beat the
I
president
know
with one club?
You said you're going to beat the president with a club.
I meant defeat. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to beat his feet with a
And
club.
golf club.
Oh, never mind.
Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do with both of you.
We're in trouble. Lock the door and let's get the bunker going down below. No, it is a serious situation we have. And this young lady, it comes to mind. She's not the only one.
No.
We have things happening on mass.
That's been on my mind, that a whole bunch of stories similar to hers in South Carolina and in New York, and I think the other one was in Baltimore. And they're cropping up, and they were kind of hidden. They were minimal news. Up that that there were people hidden among us as we're walking down the street, or as when we're in the laundromat, or we're taking a run in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And somebody who is, let's say, mentally ill, but it's a criminal. It's been somebody who's been in jail or in trouble with the law, and they kill or they really badly injure an innocent person. We've got to do something about it, but we can start it from the crib, guys, at home. But when that doesn't work, our justice system, our criminal system, and our political system has to do the right thing.
Lee, you probably paid more attention to the law that you were teaching, or your class, the classes that were held at your former place of employment, concealed carry classes.
Yes.
What's the law? Is there a statewide law about prohibition of carrying a concealed gun by a licensee aboard public mass transportation, public transportation? I do not recall.
I don't remember either. I mean, it says that you cannot carry concealed weapons.
It's a good question.
And if that is the law, this incident should give rise to looking at that law and
It's going to cause me to look it up. I can bet you. Well, Lee's already done it. But here's the thing, though. If I had been one of those individuals, and I can't remember the last time I took mass transportation except airplanes.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I was one of those individuals aboard a train like this in Charlotte, suppose I go to Charlotte and I get aboarded to go across town or whatever, and of course, I'm packing my heat, and then something comes up in a liberal city like Charlotte. Even if I had taken this dude down, they probably would have arrested me, just like I would have been in New York arrested for having a gun and saving somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like the
I tell you
on the
what.
subway in New York.
Yeah, I know
thing
this.
is, in that moment when you see an innocent girl, I don't know. I don't know how I would act. And I don't want to point my fingers, but I would hope that I did the right thing. And I wasn't thinking about what the consequence was, but I was just thinking, this girl does not deserve that.
Oh, no,
the hell with it.
Consequences,
If I go to jail,
no.
Well,
I go to jail.
Consequences would not bother me. I can tell you.
Well,
that.
the leaders of Charlotte got what they didn't want, and that was it was brought up on national television by the White House press secretary,
and the rest of us are not letting it go away.
And that's why they didn't say anything when this first happened.
No.
They were hoping to keep it quiet.
I'm absolutely amazed, disappointed, disillusioned, and irritated with the media in Charlotte. They've got some good TV stations in Charlotte. WSOC, WBTV, know them or used to know them intimately. I mean, something like this happened back in the day. Holy good golly, Miss Molly. The mayor would have been answering questions.
And all of them have children and families and friends who remind us of this young lady. And they decided to see this through.
No,
I would do an investigation into all of them. Now, why didn't we hear about this until 2 weeks later?
I think those in charge of these places do not have children. I don't think they have enough good qualities about them to ever get close enough to anybody to have kids. Those who are in charge of the media these days. How's that for a slap in their face?
I don't know. I think they have their own families. And they live different lives, and they don't partake with us, so they don't have to take public transportation. They probably don't even have to get in a car or an airline flight because they have other ways to transport themselves, and they're the elite, and so they don't have to worry about any of these things. We're not the elite; we're just people.
Yeah.
So their lives and our lives do not mix.
Yeah.
And they're going to have an awakening here because I do believe that their names, not all of their names, but some of their names are going to come up, and they're in for a very difficult several weeks or months.
I will tell you that at WBTV in the 1970s, when I was there on another deal, they had in the lobby when you walked in, they didn't have a receptionist. They had a uniformed armed security guard at the desk going into the TV station. That was in the 70s.
Yeah.
So elite were they. I was the only guard we had. And I had other duties, including sweeping the floor when it rained.
It's nothing like having a bulldog at the desk.
I think Lee is ours because she's right there. She protects us.
No, if you see me get up and run to the door, you better follow. So
No, you don't just need to duck if you have to run to the door. Stay low.
I will. I know why. Yeah, I will.
All right, Dr. Rose, we thank you. It's been
As
a little bit
always.
off kilter this morning, but it is about the kids, our kids, your kids, their kids, And we've got to protect them both in school, on their way to school, coming home from school, and while they're at school, like in LaGrange,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it? LaGrange up in Ladore County.
Mm-hmm.
Second day of school this year, the teacher was drunk and was still drinking
God.
Drunk,
on
Dr.
the second
Rose,
day of
drunk.
school in the classroom.
Oh my gosh.
Drunk.
Drunk. She was.
But before you go, Dr. Rose, this might lighten it up a little bit. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Thank
I
you.
love questions.
Okay. After you see your patients, the young ones, do you have a toy box or lollipops that they get?
Absolutely.
I knew
No doubt about that one.
I knew it.
I get to spoil my children, and so they stand there and they look at the box and they choose what they want, and I get to stand there and pat their little heads and tell them secrets.
I
The
believe
secrets
it.
go like
Yeah.
this. I love you very much, but you need to listen to your mom and your dad above everything else. Do you understand me? Yes. All right. So no arguing with mommy and daddy. There's the boss. Yes. And while they're just still choosing their little toy and just looking as cute as anything, I make sure that I brainwash them into to putting words of goodness into them, so that they remember the last thing that they remember is that we must obey mom and dad.
How beautiful.
I know the real story, though. May I share the real story with you?
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Don't
Go ahead.
you be careful now.
Yeah.
Dr. Rose is doing it because she wants the kids to come back to see them.
That's right, that. And I get to
See?
spend that extra little minute with them.
Dr. Rose
By
is doing
myself.
it because she's a good person. She's a great doctor. She's a loving human being, and she loves her children.
Do you know that my dentist has one of those boxes that I can pick items out of when I look
Oh,
at
sure.
them?
After you get that cavity filled, there's candy up there for you.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Are you taking new patients, Dr. Rose?
Yeah, really.
We could all go up
You
there on the
might
same day.
exceed the age limit by a year or two.
I've been told I act like a 12-year-old. Does that count?
Not really.
Okay.
That's what Kathy says about you, right? Yeah, I got
Everybody
12-year-olds.
knows.
Dr. Rose went through.
Thank you, Dr. Rose.
Thank you. Have a
You guys
blessed
are very
day.
welcome. Talk to you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
I get toothpaste and a toothbrush when I go to my
Well, I
dentist.
do too, but some
How do
other
you
stuff.
get candy?
I don't get candy. You the one that said candy.
I
I
didn't
said I
say
get
candy.
to choose, not chew. I get to choose some stuff out of a box. Some of it's little puzzles and stuff like that.
I have lost my mind.
So we got to talk to Regina. Maybe we could get her to give us something too when we
I need
leave.
health care.
She's going to give you a shot.
I have got to go to the chiropractor today because my back's not any better.
And the shot she's going to give you is not the one that teacher was taking.
Oh, I'm sure it's not.
Oh, no. It doesn't come in a
No.
bottle of mouthwash.
You know what? I wouldn't take anything that the doctor offered me to drink in the office. Would you? Good golly!
Why?
Think about it.
A bottle of water?
No, it's laced with something
Oh, my gosh.
to put me out, make me go to sleep.
No.
Here, this is a sedative. This is
Wow.
water.
Well, getting back to the stabbing, do you know there's a group of 10 North Carolina Republicans now calling for the removal of that magistrate judge, and her name is Teresa Stokes, accusing her of misconduct after she released a repeat offender who allegedly went on to kill a 23-year-old woman on a Charlotte light
She's doing it
rail train.
by the book.
Yep.
And the problem is the book is a problem.
Yeah, they urge a formal removal proceeding. They urge for a formal removal
It's standard
proceeding
operating
under North
procedure.
Carolina law, citing what they called willful and persistent failure by Stokes to protect the public. So this is going to
We
be
will not-
interesting.
we will not have any magistrates or judges left if they do that.
Mm.
And that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Fix the problem. The problem is not going to be the individuals running the show. The problem is the individuals who wrote the laws
You know, I think
and have bailed on
The
protecting
biggest-
society.
the biggest problem with all of this was he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So where is that going to play? Of sentencing.
He knew the difference between right and wrong. He ran away.
But do you know that he didn't believe was wrong?
He ran away from it.
Of course, I would too. Yeah, well, but I'm just
If
saying.
he was sitting there in her pool of blood, just
Mhm.
giggling when the police arrived, yes, you could go that route.
I'm
In
telling
my
you right
personal
now.
opinion,
Yeah.
that does not apply.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying that this could be a lot of the reason why he was
It's
given lesser sentences in the past.
Excuses. Excuses. That's
what-
all it is.
Now you're saying that the magistrate was wrong.
I'm saying that the law is wrong. The way
Oh, the law is messed up.
Implemented is wrong.
The law is so messed up with sentencing and
Just like with education, we need to go back to the basics here. And education, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
do you know
Done.
there was GoFundMe accounts
I know.
started
Boy,
for
the
this man's
the-
defense?
the-
GoFundMe has taken them all down.
Oh, yeah. That didn't take long once they found out about it.
In the world. You see that a lot anymore with people
Do-gooders. So-called do-gooders.
that have been accused of some type of crime.
Yeah.
And these crazy people get on
Now
social
let's
media.
talk about a Facebook posting that you forwarded me yesterday
Oh,
from former Lieutenant Governor of the great
yes.
state of North Carolina, a failed gubernatorial candidate.
boy, that was a strong video. That was
Oh,
Mark
Did
Robinson.
you see it?
I didn't know. I didn't have a chance. It was
Oh, yes.
11:30.
He was not a happy camper. He just took the whole system down, and particularly
Have you
the
got
current
it?
governor.
Have you got it that you
I
can
don't
play
have
it?
it handy, but but anyway,
On my
just
phone.
you can use
that
you
was
can
on.
tell him tell us what he said. He was. We're talking about Mark Robinson.
He said that people, that's Steve Collins, that there's people automatically wanted to bring race into it. But, this is a situation where usually you have somebody making racial accusations of white on black. This was actually black on whites. And then he's like, so what now? But he was saying that the system failed.
Well,
And-
he was pointing out that the current governor back in the day when he was a lieutenant governor came out with all this stuff, and he was immediately jumped on the whole George Floyd case and called
Yes.
George Floyd exactly what I've called him, the thug who had a long litany of crimes. He was a mean person. And yes, what happened to him was not justified, but making him a hero, building a statue to people like that, and Michael Brown.
And
No.
and that was the whole point of what Robinson was
Yes,
trying to say.
That's what
He was not defending one race over the other,
No.
but he was saying you're making a hero out of a thug.
Yeah. And in this case, you've got a thug who is, good gracious, they just go, because she's a foreigner or whatever. Steve, is that you?
That's me.
Hey, me, how you?
Hey.
Hey, Steve.
I thought you were
Hey,
Steve. So you Steve or you me?
I'm Stevie P.
Okay, Stevie be good. That's kind of like
It's me, it's Stevie P.
that's kind of like Johnny be
That's
good, right?
everything.
Okay, Ernest.
How's your other brother,
It's me,
Steve?
Ernest P.
There you go, buddy.
What's up?
Oh, nothing. I was just kind of listening to y'all this morning, and I've been thinking a lot about, the situation and what happened up there in Charlotte, and that obviously is just horrible. Can't say enough about how bad that is.
Not
And I
defendable.
agree. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's not defendable.
It's not. And people, wanting to, looking at that guy in any way of, trying to help him, that's misplaced. And I think that the court should have probably incarcerated him, considering all the things he had done up to that point. And that would have saved that girl's life.
Yep.
But what he done, they wouldn't have been able to imprison him for life for what they had him for. Eventually, they would have let him out, and it probably would have been another girl on some other bus. I don't know how you fix that. I will say that the part that really bothers me, I guess, from looking at it from a solution standpoint, is that where people keep trying to say this is a political issue, that it's a Democratic problem, and it's not. It's an American problem.
It's an American
The worst
problem.
the worst cities in this country are not sanctuary cities. They are not run by Democrats. They do not have Democrat-leaning prosecutors, and they still have a bad problem with it. On some Sunday night in Memphis, Tennessee, a gang shot up a house and shot two 15-year-olds, a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Mhm.
You ain't heard nothing about that, and you're not going to.
Mhm.
You know, in Memphis, Tennessee, in April, in 1 week, there was 36 people shot and 15 killed. That was their worst week this year so far.
In
It's
Memphis,
a problem in Memphis.
15 people
So
killed.
in the latter part of April of 2025, that was their worst week so far this year. But that's my thing, is as long as people are trying to look at this from a political side, they're never going to fix this problem.
Well, the only
They're never going to have a real effect on this problem.
Yeah.
You know, and to politicizing stuff like this, I mean, we used to see this for what it was. That, you know, I mean, just like when the Democrats, when there's a school shooting, they try to politicize it for gun control.
Yep.
That's not the problem. You know, and Democrats running these cities, that's not the problem.
I don't think it's the Democrat-run cities is the problem. It's a Democrat, well, it happened to be a Democrat. Hey, it's a politician, a mayoral re-election candidate, but she, when this first was made public, she did make the statement that I'm happy. I thought we were going to get by with it, or words to that effect, without it becoming a major issue. In other words, it was kept under wraps. Now, was that a political reason? Yeah, probably to keep the bad press out of Charlotte. But maybe if you look at it, that she was running as a Democrat re-election candidate, that would make it very political, in my opinion, right?
And I don't disagree with you there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to defend Democrats. I'm just trying to say the problem exists on both sides.
Well, I'm not.
You know?
I don't care whether she's a Democrat nominee or if it had been a Republican, if it had been whoever.
Right.
That does make it political when you start getting up there and saying things like that.
And I don't deny you that, but like I say, the real issue is that this happens everywhere, and
it does.
the narrative they're trying to paint is that it only happened if everybody voted Republican, we wouldn't have crime no more. That's what the Republican politicians are trying to subliminally put in your head.
No.
You know, that it's only Democrat-run cities that have this problem, and what they're doing. This is the part that kind of irritates me too. Is what they're doing is in these red cities where people actually voted for these people, they're ignoring that problem. They're not trying to go in there and fix the problem in these red cities at all. And they're the worst cities in the country. They're the people, if you live in Memphis or if you live in Little Rock, or I can just keep on naming them, the top 6 or red run cities.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear nothing about that. If you voted for them and you live in those cities, they don't care about you. They don't care if you get murdered. They don't care, you know, if crime is bad in your city.
Right.
And it's a clear demonstration that it's not the policies that cause this problem. You know, in red cities where they're not lenient. They do put people in jail constantly, but they have constantly more people committing crimes right behind those. That's where I think we get off track and we all get lost in the weeds. And I try to remember that the main tool for manipulating somebody or controlling somebody, Rayford, you know this, if you go in there and interrogate somebody, you try to upset them. You try to do something to give them an emotional response, because then they're more likely to make a mistake if they're coming from an emotional point instead of a logical point. Would you agree with that?
It depends upon the individual, but most cases I did not do that. I just had conversation with them, and sooner or later in general conversation, everybody screws up if they tend to lie. They don't tell the same story twice.
And also, I was going to say, I'll give a quick example. You got 2 people and you go in and say, person A already told us that you're the ringleader and that you're the one that orchestrated all this, and that person flips out because they weren't the leader and they tell everything.
Mm.
You know, and even salesmen, you know, when you go to a car lot, they are taught to try and get an emotional response from you, because if they get you to start thinking from an emotional state instead of a logical state, it's easier to lead you.
Well, it depends upon the vehicle they're selling. If they're selling a vehicle that's supposed to be very safe, or, hey, this is the safest vehicle on the highways, look at the
Tesla.
reports here, and yada, 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 yada,
Let's get a
yada.
Tesla.
And the other one is if they want to go safety and then they want to go fuel efficiency. So those are the two they sell.
Right. But the point I was getting to is that politicians on both sides try to do that to you. They use that same tactic. They try and invoke an emotional response in you, or not you, but in people in general. And that once you're thinking from an emotional state, you can be led. That's the oldest trick in the book, you know. And even like ones that are notorious for it are people who sell security alarms. Security alarm systems.
Yeah.
They're the ones that will prey on that. I mean, they use that. That's their main tactic to tell you, well, somebody up the road got broke into yesterday, even if nobody up the road got broken into yesterday.
Well, they're the second card. They because they will no seriously they will take a look at the crime rate in a city. Okay, because those are all available. Where are the most crimes? Real estate people do the same thing because when they know that they're going to have to look at a crime rate in a particular area, and they will sell that area when they got houses in this area based upon the crime rate being very low. Now, the other guys, the alarm salesmen or whatever, they will sell you because the crime rate is so high here. Look at this. Now, you want to know what the smartest group of salesmen were? When cell phones first came out, the one guy that started that, every time it rained, he took his car, he drove to a payphone. He had the telephone number of that payphone in his car. When he'd see a car pull up in pouring rain, the guy gets out and goes in to make a phone call. He calls the payphone. He says, wouldn't you like to be sitting in the comfort of your warm, dry car right now like I am? Come over here. You can make your phone call from the comfort of my car. Duh. He had an astronomically high rate of sales.
Well, but my point, I guess, is that people use this tactic and not
to take advantage of us.
Right, and sometimes people, you know, don't do it necessarily intentionally. But you, from my point of view, from the middle, I can clearly see where the Republicans are constantly trying to keep their base upset over something. You know, last week it was the Cracker Barrel label. You know, then you know we all remember Bud Light. You know,
I still
and
drink
that's
it.
the one that gets me the most. Honestly,
Never quit.
You know, and here's spaghetti. I know I'm throwing all kinds of stuff out there at you, but
I got some sauce in there too already made.
right. The Bud Light thing, I wanted to ask y'all. Do y'all know how many cases of beer they made with that person's picture on it?
I have no idea.
Any idea how many they sold?
I don't know because I don't drink Bud Light and I didn't pay that much attention to the whole deal.
I didn't know if you caught any part of that story or not, but they made that big thing out of one can that they sent to that person. One can. And let me tell you where it comes from. Anheuser-Busch has an advertising department that still to this day you can go online and you can have any picture you want put on any one of the beers they sell on a big tall boy for $50, and they will send it to you.
Lee, pose for me, would you? Right here.
You can put a picture of your dog on there if you want to. Now, they may have discontinued that because of all the bad press they got, but that was the situation, and they sent that one can to that person, and that person put on their online, whatever they do, a picture of them in that one can. So, I mean, that's where I say, you know, they're trying to manufacture outrage, and the Democrats do it too, you know, on different sides of the coin. But I just get frustrated when I see so many people get caught up in this, how they politicize everything, you know, and if you look at it rationally, it's not, politics doesn't seem to have anything to do with it. Anyway.
Steve, do you agree or disagree? Have no opinion on this following. That is, once again, the media. The media is easily jumping that it's a red or blue issue.
Honestly, every time somebody asks me a question like that, I go back to the Eagles song "Dirty Laundry," and my point is this has been a problem that's been going on since the beginning of time.
I'll agree.
Ever since the beginning of media, ever since the first word was put in print, that's an issue. And it's a part of the human condition. Anything that's part of the human condition, you can try to mitigate, but it's hard to eliminate. I agree with you. That would be yes. The answer to that question, the short answer, yes. The media, they're always trying to sensationalize things because nobody wants to watch a boring newscast.
You're right.
Yeah, and
They're not going to watch good news either.
Nobody, because people like me and Lee watch CNN. I mean, not CNN, but
Fox?
C-SPAN.
C-SPAN.
Yeah,
C-SPAN.
C-SPAN.
That's what I was about
Yes.
to say.
I know. I was like, CNN.
It ain't as boring as it used to be, and I don't watch it as much as I used to now.
Right. Right.
You know, because I would agree. I don't like all the bickering. I don't like the non-professionalism. I don't, yeah, I think it's devolving into the same thing that people in Britain do.
You're right.
But anyway, that was a lot of talking on my part.
Well, but no one is, and I know it would fail. If I could invest or own a television station, and it covered good news,
That's gonna be Jennifer.
probably nobody would watch it.
Oh, it's
Although everybody
filler.
seems to want to, they stick around to the end of the newscast to see the feel-good story to end the newscast after all the bad stuff they've pushed for 27 minutes.
There are two stories, and I guess I'm the only one here who's done news, right?
No, well, I've done it on the radio.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I'm talking about at management levels.
Oh,
Okay, as the news director and as a former reporter and as a former has been a bunch, right? But here there are two stories in a newscast that you count on in the first part of the day. Here's what you plan on. You plan on the lead story. You plan on the kicker story. The two most watched stories in any local TV newscast is the first story and the last story. Period. Bottom line. The rest of them are just in between. Yes, the nuts and bolts of what's going on. Absolutely. But you got to get their attention with the first story.
mm-hmm.
And usually that's by whatever the major story of the day is. And most days it's self-evident what it is. The kicker story is what you make of it, what you take with an event, a situation. Usually it's funny or cute or really eye-opening.
Heartwarming.
Lead story one day. You ready for this one? Fluffy was our photographer was there at a house fire. Firefighter coming out. He's got a cat in his hand. It's not breathing. And he's doing CPR on the cat. Cat comes back to life on camera. What do you think I'm going to lead with, people? What do you think is going to be the lead story of that day?
But was it a Republican or a Democratic fire person that gave the cat breath?
Say cat. I thought you were going to ask if it was a Democrat or Republican cat. That was
I'll say Tuesday.
What kind of breath did that fire person breathe into that cat?
The
I
firefighter
was going to say,
was a female.
you have to,
Her name was Catwoman. Just
I was
kidding.
going to say, you would
Let's just
actually have
stop
to
right
save
there.
life on camera to be the lead story over a bad story, I think.
Thank you. It's the truth.
But anyway, that's going to lead. Period. Why not? I mean, it's a great story. It would have happened if we weren't there, but it's still a great story. We were there, and it became a great story for people to relate to. And it's like, wow,
We don't get enough of those.
there's
these days.
humanity out here, and everybody's pulling for the cat. Even the cat haters pull for the cat. And to top it off, the cat's name was Fluffy. So, I mean, good God, give me a break.
Good pick.
All right, Steve-O, thank you.
Did you say Jennifer was
You're welcome, guys. Y'all have a
It's
blessed
Chris
day.
Miller.
Bye.
Chris was on, or Chris is on.
It's not that time yet. We're 24 hours early, aren't we?
But when he does call, it's special.
Okay, now normally it's Miller time, but we're talking about Busch Light today. So you got anything about Busch Light?
Bud Light.
Bud Light, whatever it is.
Bud Light.
I don't drink beer, so. Hey,
I wanted
Chris.
to come check on you. There was no Jacksonville Cardinals football last week, so
I
I
know.
know you were going through a little bit of withdrawal, but they are back at home on Friday.
I followed you on the Richlands game. And some of your comments were hysterical. You said, this game has just turned upside down.
Hey, I got to tell you, Chris, I did enjoy the break that I got. Every once in a while, I do cover for Chris on the other games, but I did get a break from listening to two people. But then I listened to the other two, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Chris, we got to get you doing play-by-play color. I know you got your own show now, but
Downey's Prep.
yeah.
Shameless plug, Mr. Marks. No, I appreciate appreciate all your help, and I know that's not easy. Not easy to listen and trying to get the updates and send them to me, but I really appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
you can't imagine how helpful that is, even getting those basic information. So I owe you a Dr. Pepper, my friend.
No. It was more about putting you on the radio and doing some of these games.
What's better than Dr. Pepper?
Something we can
You
understand.
ever mix Dr. Pepper with Coca-Cola 50-50? That's
What?
a really good flavor. Go to a fountain sometime at Fountain Drinks and where you mix your own and do that.
Do you put
It's
a pack of
good.
peanuts in it too?
No. I'm putting no peanuts in that.
Isn't that called a suicide?
I don't know what it's called.
Chris, what did you call about?
Sorry, Chris.
No, I wanted to talk about Dr. Pepper and that prune juice.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to clarify things. So we should ask Steve when he's not eating spaghetti and throwing it against the wall. How many bushes does he have in his yard? Because he does like to beat around it. From
We need to get the two of you in here together. We'll just take a break. I can sit back and just moderate.
Well, I think the thing that upset a lot of people was that Bud Light did have a partnership with with that young influencer, social media influencer. So it was a partnership. It was a social media partnership, and that's what people why people got all up in arms is because of that partnership. So people can do what they want. People can do what's best for them and their company. But people decided not to drink Bud Light for a while because of that partnership, and so it was more than just a here, give me money and I'll make the person I can. It was a social media partnership, so that's what got people upset. And for the record, the mayor for Memphis is Democrat, and the mayor for Little Rock, Arkansas, is also Democrat. And so those two cities were mentioned by the previous caller about why it's not been reported. But those mayors, even though they come from red states, those cities are led by Democrats. So just wanted to throw that out there and clarify that information. Because that was, I assume it was mistakenly, inadvertently left off and not purposely mentioned that they were Democrats.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find some stats on Memphis. Yeah, they've had a high murder rate, but for the last 3 years, the crime rate overall has been dropping. And this year, unfortunately, they've had 140 murders in 2025. That's a lot.
That is.
Sure is.
Even though Memphis is a big city, it's not a huge city, but that's still a lot of murders in one town. And for that to be lower than what it has been for the last 2 years, that's awful. It's good that it's lower, don't get me wrong, but why is it that high even now? Good gracious. I don't know. They've got a problem and they need to enforce the law.
Well, we need to call Rayford, and Rayford, you need to go and take care of business and beat some people up. How about that?
No, what needs to be done is they really need to think about prevention, crime prevention. And that goes a long ways in dealing with the citizens of your area. You got to know who they are. You got to know who you're dealing with, the good people, so that they can point out the bad people, so you can put extra emphasis on it. You got to make friends with the good people. You can't berate the good people. You got to be friendly with the good people. Look at Jacksonville, my God. Lawmen here they're treated very nicely because they treat the people nicely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do arrest people like people who deal drugs and they're being stupid. They're going to arrest you. They're going to put you in jail. That's where you belong. But there are some good people, and as long as you got the good people on your side, your crime rate will be lower.
Well, I give them this too. These other towns, big cities and stuff, if you don't have it yet, have a night or a morning of cup with a coffee with a cop.
Yep.
Do that. And if you don't have one yet, start a Crime Stopper in your area.
Oh, Lord.
Crime Stopper, National Night Out,
Yep.
where you can go meet the police officers, the lawmen in the town. State is coming up in October this year. Thank God it's cooler.
Thank you. Smartest thing they've ever
Yes,
done.
it is.
Thank you.
But that's, and as long as they got something like that going and people come out and they turn out in force when they do that.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So we'll be
It's-
talking more
it's a
about
great
that over
night.
the next
Great
month.
night. Great night.
Chris, I have put an order in for some PC just in case. That does not mean political correctness.
I gotta tell you, be sure to follow Chris on X at Fluffy.
Yeah. Two things. Cute, fluffy, small, sweet cells, and then if it bleeds, it reads. Those are the two things that, and of course, weather. Everybody wants to read about or watch about the
Yes.
weather. So
The only state in this country that weather is not a lead story very often, there's one state. Guess where it is? Hawaii. Today, 82 degrees and sunny. Tomorrow, 83 degrees and sunny. The day after, 81 degrees and sunny. That's pretty much the way it is day in and day out. And that's the only state in the country that weather does not lead if there's anything weather-wise to talk about, because there's almost nothing weather-wise to talk about in Hawaii. Oh, there's a hurricane 5,000 miles away. Let's talk about it. No, they don't do that.
Well, I'd like to go visit Hawaii.
No, you wouldn't.
Go during hurricane season.
Why tell me I wouldn't?
I'm going to tell you why you wouldn't.
No, I'm
Donnie Worrell just got back
I
there.
appreciate
I'll
y'all
send
letting me
us
call back
pictures.
in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
I'll
Chris.
call around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to give you the
All
football.
right.
Okay.
All right.
Donnie's
Bye.
prep report.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Good,
I
good.
like that.
The-
And seriously, you can follow Chris on X at Chris Miller at JDN Sports. I was just picking on him.
Donnie just got back.
Yeah, I saw his
And-
pictures.
and-
Was
yeah,
he kissing the earth when he got here?
he had one heck of a trip back, but the waves he saw, the areas he visited and stuff,
Joy.
but the money. Oh,
Well, you can expect that. I'm going to win the lottery.
He
for it.
left a lot of cash in
Yeah, he
Hawaii. I left my cash in Honolulu.
no.
I wish we could change that song in a hurry, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Let's talk to Joy.
Hey, joy, joy to the world.
Joy to the
world.
Good morning.
There's something in the air here this morning. I'm not sure what it is, but it might be pepper spray.
I feel like my eyes got pepper spray in them right now. Red and blue. First of all, I stand to be corrected. I have been following that tragedy that has transpired, as many people have. But my question is, did I not hear it correctly at one point that he was schizophrenic and that he beat his sister and his mother tried to have him involuntarily committed, and they did not do that prior to this?
I don't know. I know he had some issues prior to this, and I don't know if there's been an official schizophrenic diagnosis or not. I can call, Chris schizophrenic. Sometimes people call me that. Sometimes, I'm sure, because I bounce off the walls in different directions.
Yeah,
but
we're all like
I don't
that.
know. I don't know if he's officially been diagnosed with that or not. If he has been, he needs to be treated.
Yeah, well, the thing, I guess my point is, we're talking about Democrats, Republicans, blah, 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 and I get it. But I'm not into that political kind of stuff. But if he beat his sister and his mom tried to involuntarily committing, knowing that he had some type of issues years ago or whatever, and I stand to be correct because I really have not, it was just a glimpse that I heard. We, everybody, mental health they put down at the bottom. I'm not saying that, I'm not using that as an excuse for mental health, but people that have mental health issues, there are no places, nowhere to put them except and of course he should have been put in prison a long time ago, but don't you think maybe, we are not helping
society by not helping. Do you know how hard it is to involuntarily commit someone these days?
Yes.
It's not very easy.
Nope.
Mhm.
And it's very, I mean, as a family unit, and you try to get a person that you know is sick, and you've lived with them, and you've watched these things that you could see could possibly transpire to something bad, which maybe it doesn't. I mean, it could, but there's no help. You don't have anywhere to put these people. I mean, I don't know. It looks like this guy just walked on and decided I'm just going to just kill this woman and just go on with it. And then I was a little bit upset that the people just sort of like sat there. I don't know if they were shocked and didn't want to get involved, or if it just happened so quickly. You know, people are saying people didn't help her, but at that point, when you look at it, you sort of see them not moving at all. So I don't know if they were afraid, but I'm just wondering. I just think we're failing on people that are mentally ill, and I'm not saying I'm not taking up for the man at all. He should be burned at the stake, to be perfectly honest. But I just don't think we're not being proactive. We're not. You know, if I go down and say this person, my loved one, needs to be involuntarily committed, the paperwork you got, not unless they're harm to themselves or harm to another. I mean, it's just a long whatever. And if he beat his sister. Did y'all hear that?
I've heard a lot, but I have
Yeah,
not.
I have not heard
I haven't
that.
looked at that. I don't know. I don't know. You can rest assured this is not his first rodeo.
No.
I will guarantee you that. Nobody starts out like that.
Yeah, and she tried to get him, but I don't think it happened. But like I said, I stand to be corrected.
Okay, let me just go back to the 1970s here in Oslo County,
Yeah,
Swansboro area.
yeah.
There's a guy named Glancy.
Mhm.
He was
Well,
released from Cherry Hospital,
Yep.
and the paperwork to release him said he's performing as long as he takes his meds. He's doing fine here, and we're going to, I forgot the exact words, but turn him back into society, into his brother's custody, care, whatever, to see how he performs.
They don't perform.
See how he performs. Let me tell you
Yeah.
how he performed.
Yeah, he probably, yeah.
Dinner
Yes.
Friday evening. His brother, and his brother's wife having dinner just outside Swansboro's town limits at the time. He gets up, he goes to a room, he gets a gun, comes back, he shoots his brother to death at dinner. He kidnaps his dead brother's wife, gets in a car, drives at a high rate of speed. Of course, the alert goes out. I got called to go help the sheriff's office in processing that scene. So that's how I first found out about it. And on my way there, I'm listening to my radio, and it's in the radio. I'm hearing stuff like a high-speed chase, a highway patrol's behind this car. And I'm like, of course, I don't hear the highway patrol in. I hear the sheriff's office in. And I hear all these cars in this pursuit and yada, 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 yada. And they were going Belgrade, Swansboro cutoff loop road at that time, or Belgrade, Swansboro road at that time, coming back towards NC 24. Well, guess who pulls out in front of me? That whole line of vehicles in pursuit of this one guy. And they chase him down dirt road. Okay, well, this is the same direction I'm going. I go down there. He spins out because there's a pickup truck stopped in front of him on the dirt road. That was a neighbor of his brother. He gets out of the car. He shoots the driver of that other vehicle to death. That's two. The law gets there. There's a deputy sheriff named Paul Buchanan. He was there.
Right.
And Paul gets hit with some pellets when this guy opened fire with a shotgun.
He never should have been let out. Not only that, people with mental illness that are supposed to take pills do not like to take the pills.
They're not going to take the pills.
No. The good part now is they have come out with shots with the same type of medication that you orally take, which you get it like once a month. And they are getting a little bit, but people with mental illness, I would say 98% do not take their pills. They might take it for a little bit. They don't like how it makes them feel. Then they end up turning to illicit drugs, which makes them even crazier than what they are. I hate to use the word crazy. It makes them more, it makes it worse by not taking the proper medication. And then they go off and do horrible, terrible, terrible things.
Uh-huh.
I just think we as a society have failed people that have mental illness, and I'm not saying that gentleman had it, but if I am correct that his mom tried to get him help back when, and if he did beat his sister, and the political part would be they needed to do more about mental illness.
Well, here's the thing. If the case you're talking about, let's just say there are two things. If they would not treat him for being mentally ill, if they would not take him and say, okay, the guy's got a problem and we're going to do this and this and this, if he beat his sister and he beat his mom, there's another place for him. It's called jail.
Exactly.
You've got one of two choices. Treat him for the mental problem or put him in jail. You can't just turn him loose.
No, and the good part about Mr. Chris Thomas, our sheriff, now, kudos to his department, because when you're in your Onslow County Jail, if you have a mental illness, they make sure you take your medication.
Oh, yeah.
But when you go into prison, they could give a rat's tail whether you take your medication or not. Some prisons, not all, but I know some, you know, they'll do medical call, come take your medication, and if you don't want to take it, if you refuse to take it, they don't make you take it. Onslow, they watch you take it, they make sure you've taken it.
Yeah.
So the guy that you're talking about should never, ever, ever have been released from under anybody's custody. But the problem here again is we do not have the facilities in the United States of America that can help people that are not financially able to help these people, because most of the places that you call and try to get a person in, the fees are phenomenal, $20,000 to $30,000 a month.
Yep.
You know, a lot of places will not take Medicaid, and a lot of people just take the 30 days. 30 days ain't cutting it. You know, and even though they've gone to prison, that ain't helping them sometimes. I mean, sometimes people just cannot be helped. And what's the sad part about it is they end up doing what this person has done.
Yep. Well, if anything comes of this, hopefully it will be further recognition. But, you know, it's today's news. Mainly because it's been politicized.
Yes, it
It will
has.
not be
I don't
news.
like that.
It will not be newsworthy with the next school shooting, with the next plane crash, with the next fiery crash somewhere. It will no longer be news, and nobody's going to follow up on it. You understand that there will be no follow-up news coverage of this. The news media's attention is 24 hours.
Yeah, they'll move on to something else bad that's happened. But do you think that, have you noticed a lot of people that have done school shootings or whatever end up killing themselves if they don't get killed first?
Of course.
Do you think that anyone, we know that mentally there has to be something wrong with these people, either drugs or, let's say, mental illness, okay? Do you think that the people that go around and do these murders are mentally ill? Would you say, I mean,
Anybody who
life.
commits murder has a problem. Are they mentally ill? No, they're mentally challenged, perhaps.
Right.
But they obviously, most of them know right from wrong, and many of them, as you say, off themselves. Now, they just don't want to go to prison. If they really, really wanted to do something, if they were that bad off, if they were that sick, they would kill themselves first. If that was their end result, then they should have done that first. In their minds, a normal mentally ill person would do that. So these people have a mean streak, at least a mean streak. And some of them are just so disgusted with everything around them. It could be their parents, it could be their classmates, it could be people bullying them, which we hear so much about. And
Yeah.
I watched a movie on the TV. I forgot the name of it now, but it involves a lot of bullying.
Right.
And it's I'll get the name of that because I want to talk about that again one day. But it involves that, and people just can't deal with it.
Right.
And sometimes they want to punish society in general. Sometimes they just want to punish themselves, and they don't care about society. They just want to, I'll show them. And that's the sad part. They can be helped if it's brought to the attention of the right people. They can be helped. They're not so mentally ill that they're crazy. They're dropouts. They want to drop out from society, and they're fed up with society and the way people have treated them.
Yep, you're probably right about that.
I wish Kelly was here too. We need to get Kelly just to weigh in on some of this.
Can I say something about all this?
No.
And that's what I know, because you didn't let me finish the last time. But this whole thing about 10 Republican leaders in North Carolina wanting to go after this magistrate, accusing her of misconduct. Is this misconduct, or is this hands are tied because of his mental illness? That's the whole point I'm making. Is it the laws that we need to change, or do we need to change and do something about the mental illness? Was he given the help that he needed to be given by the system?
Nope.
Can we hold him accountable for what he did because of his mental illness?
Yes.
And that's the whole point I'm trying to make.
And
It's just a lot here.
Yeah, and it's mental illness. A lot of people don't understand. They're afraid of people with mental illness, which I totally get. I think maybe some people. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything else.
It's a hard road, whichever way you go down. It's a tragedy that happened. It should have never happened.
No.
How do we prevent it from happening again?
She was precious. She did her job. She was coming home from, and then bam. I mean, I don't even know if he. I mean, did he just plan to? You wondered, did he just plan to kill anybody that sat in front of him?
I don't know. He got on the bus. He got on the train. I don't know whether you saw it or not. I don't know how.
Right.
I don't know how far behind him that she got on the train. Was it at a different stop? Was it at the same location? Had he seen her before? Did she take the same train on a daily basis? See, we don't know any of this because nobody's talking to us. They're all just hoopla about everything else. I want to know what the background story is. Did this guy have any contact with her at any time prior to this, even if it was just sitting at the train stop waiting, or where she worked, or whatever? I'm sure the law enforcement will have all of that sooner or later. More later than sooner.
Urge our lawmakers to take a look at both sides of everything, and then find out where the failure was in the system, whether it was in the judicial system or whether it was in the mental health system, and then make changes from there.
And the immediate part, we can't wait for our legislature to get off their butts to get something done. We've got to take some kind of action now.
That's what I just said.
If it's just confining them, that's right, I'm agreeing with you. Just confining them until they can do something. You can't just let them walk among us.
Just don't talk about it.
I agree. But I know some that have been to prison with mental illness, and they've done stupid things, and I don't know. I just think that I'm not taking up for this guy. I really am not taking up for this guy. I'm just saying, anyone out there with any type of course, we all are a little wacky in the head. I'll admit I'm a little crazy anyways, but I just think that we fail people with mental illness is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that we don't have the facilities, we don't have the staff, they say we don't have the monies, but we got monies for other things that are sort of stupid, if you ask me. It's just, I don't know. I just think, like you're saying, Leah, I'm torn between what you're saying also. Judicial wise, I think first of all, look at all the counts he had prior to all this. I mean, somebody fell back when. But if his mama did try to step in sometime, which I probably need to research that, but I haven't. And if he did hit his sister, beat her up, and
Joy.
she tried to involuntarily commit him, and they didn't, which I don't think they did, but I don't know that story either.
All right.
Who failed?
Joey, I want you to write down some initials or some letters. I want you to write down NC, put a space, and then put DOC. Go to that site. It's the North Carolina Department of Corrections. Go to inmate offender search. And go ahead and find anytime you find, like the two people that I read a story on today for drug arrests because they got stupid.
Yes, sir.
Go pick any of these individuals who have, that you read about in the newspaper, that you hear on TV, that you, whatever, you read these stories about them in North Carolina. Go look them up and look at the number of offenses they have. Just because they have committed 40 pages worth of bad things.
Oh, yeah.
From worthless checks to beating dogs to no operator's license to DWI 12 times to whatever, doesn't mean they're going to put them in prison.
No.
Suspended sentence. Oh, yeah, he's put on probation, brought in for a parole violation. Oh, yeah, he's violated his parole. We're going to put him on parole again. Huh?
Yep. I agree with you.
So the system is flawed.
Yes, sir.
And the implementation of the system is flawed.
Yes, sir.
We got to have let's get back down to basics meeting at some point in time. The legislature should do nothing but take on that business 1 year, for one entire year. Look at our criminal justice system and do nothing else, including not even pass a budget. We'll operate off last year's budget until we can get something straight.
Right, and that's why I don't think that it's Democrat and Republican in this case.
It's got nothing to do with that.
That's my personal opinion.
They're all elected politicians, and that's the problem.
I'm sure there's many of a North Carolina Democrat out there right now with the state going, we need to make changes.
Oh,
yes.
Big deal.
Yes.
No,
Lip
I'm
service.
just saying
Yeah, I
it's
know what
not
you're saying.
just a Republican
No, it's not.
thing.
It's just lip service. They all want to do it, but
Well, think
some of
about
them
it
don't want
as
to do it.
I could turn around and say, Chris, you were a senator, North Carolina senator, and this just happened. And I say, Chris, what's your feelings on this? What's the first thing you're going to say? We need to make changes. So it's perfectly normal and natural for our elected officials to take that stance. I
Ask
just
them in
say,
2 weeks.
let's do something. 3 months from now, you won't hear a word about it.
Nope.
No.
All right, Joey.
Bye, y'all. Have a
See
good
ya.
day.
Blessed day.
Yeah, offshore today, I probably would not. Small craft
Need to go
advisories in
offshore.
effect through Wednesday afternoon through this afternoon. Northerly winds 15 to 20, seas 4 to 6. They're 9 seconds apart. It's 3 to 4 near shore. It's going to be too choppy to get there. Sounds and rivers choppy. Northerly winds tomorrow 10 to 15, 3 to 5. Foot seas, sounds and rivers of moderate chop Friday, looking better. Northeasterly winds 15 to 20. Have some gusts up to 25 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Seas will start to come down. It's 3 to 5, then 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers will be choppy on Friday.
Today, mostly cloudy with a high near 79, winds 7 to 11 miles per hour with gusts as high as 18. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 64. Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 82 and a slight chance of an afternoon shower. And football Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 82.
And dark that night.
Yeehaw. Yes.
Okay. We got our weather spotters from around the area, courtesy of the Onslow Amateur Radio Club. These guys, it's growing. Randy out there at Southwest at 66 this morning, bright and early. Well, it was early. I don't think it got bright for a while. No rain. Nobody had any rain accumulation since yesterday. Joe down in the Swamps-Borough, 67 degrees. Lee out there in Back Swamp. Oh, yeah. He had 96% humidity. He had winds, light breezes of about 8 miles per hour. 66 degrees there in Back Swamp. The other Lee over in your neck of the woods, she's waiting for her ticket. And once it gets in, she'll be calling it in. So what was it this morning at your house in the Woodlands?
It was 64 degrees,
64.
90% humidity, and 0.21 inches of rain.
Not yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Did it rain yesterday?
I got in my rain gauge, went from 0 to 0.21. So I must have just got that little burst from somewhere. I know my
didn't hear
plants
any.
were wet. My
Well,
plants were
okay.
wet. Yeah.
All right. Dale out there in River Bend had 99% humidity, 66 degrees, no rain. Ken in Onslow Bay, down here off Rocky Run,
Back me up, Ken.
99% humidity, 65 degrees, and no rain. Craig in Richlands. Hey, Craig. Hey, it was foggy there this morning, 67 and nothing. And studio here this morning at that time, it was 99% humidity, 63 degrees, and no rain. Currently it's 64 degrees, 97% humidity, and it still hasn't rained.
Well, maybe it was a squirrel that hit it.
I think it was a
Maybe he just hovered over my rain gauge and,
full bladder,
full bladder.
empty bladder now.
I mentioned real quick,
Go right
tomorrow,
ahead.
the 9/11 celebration is happening over at Montford Point Road. Now, it's not actually happening at the memorial. It's happening at the memorial beam, which is separate from the Beirut Memorial.
It's between the Montfort Point and
Right. So it begins at 8:15 a.m. There's parking, and there's parking. Excess parking will be over at the Coastal Carolina State Veterans Cemetery. There's also some at New River Shopping Center being put on by the Onslow County Civic Affairs Committee, and it's going to be very beautiful.
Prepare to walk if you get there late.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a stroll.
And there's something that they've been working on too, is trying to get little golf carts.
Mhm.
And once they built the Museum of the Marine, that they're hoping to have some stuff, which we need to bring the new CEO in. And
Yes, we do.
I've been trying to get up with him. So
We tomorrow. We've got one gentleman we're going to be talking with, right?
yes.
Pete, is he coming in?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Pete Benton, he's coming in tomorrow. We're going to talk about 9/11. And because I got talking with him, and he was telling me about all the things that were implemented
Mhm.
as soon as that happened, the people that were called in for response, the aircraft that was put out. It was just great, interesting stuff.
So
that he was talking
a whole
about,
lot of
so.
things happened as a
Yes.
result of 9/11. And you folks who were born just before or right near that time, you did not grow up when we had a free America, where we could go to the airport, didn't have to take our shoes off, our belts off, get stripped naked, and go through metal detectors and this and that and everything else.
Right.
We were, mostly free. During that time, immediately following the hijacking of those 4 airplanes and the crashes that occurred, the attack on this country, we suddenly had, I'd been to other countries, Venezuela and other places and airports in other countries where they had people, military, walking around with machine guns.
Yeah.
That was the standard operating procedure in a lot of places, because a lot of these other places did not have the freedoms that we had, and they did not have our security. But then suddenly, in New Hanover County, where I was at the time at the airport in Wilmington, I go to the airport, there's a guy there with an M16 and carrying a Beretta 9mm. And they're loaded. And they're prepared.
Mhm.
And they're right there with the TSA guy. Well, they didn't have TSA then. They just had somebody checking you in.
Yeah.
But they were there.
It was a
I got to
scary
know
time.
him. He was a sergeant in the National Guard. He was called up to active duty. Every day he was there
A lot of
for a
stories.
long time.
Yeah.
And there were lots of stories, lots of things that we lost we just lost a lot. We can't just do anything. They really strictly enforce you getting a ticket to go to anywhere.
Mhm.
It's something as simple as these six-pack captains that we talk about around here, charter captains that take people out to go fishing around here. You know what they had to suddenly get? They had to go through and get screened by Homeland Security to get something called a transportation workers identification card, a TWIC card, because they were educated into what to look for, because some of these guys were taking flying lessons. And then Homeland Security comes along, and then they say possibility that these people would be using boats next time, because they seldom use the same methods 2 times in a row. The chances of us having another airborne attack like we had on 9/11 are greatly reduced. They'll come up and do something different. They don't do the same thing. They plot for years at a time on what to do. And they check our areas for the weakest links, weakest entrance, weakest protection that we've got. They're not going to go up against people at an airport that are not going to let you get aboard an airplane. You can't get a pack of crackers in, hardly. You can't carry that soft drink and pick it up outside and go through because they don't know what's in it.
Nope.
They have no idea what's in there. You could have some explosives in that bottle of Pepsi that you've got.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Those poor flat plastic forks and stuff you try to cut a steak with on an airplane. Well, you don't get steaks anymore, I guess, but holy mackerel, you ever try to cut one like with that? I need another fork. I need another spoon. I need another because I broke this one. It's amazing what you cannot do these days.
Well,
because of a bunch of thugs.
That was just a horrible, horrible day. And actually, I know somebody, and he still lives here in Jacksonville, that was in the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do too.
So
And
we all
it's the
probably
same
talking about the same person.
I've asked him
there.
several times. I just think he doesn't want
I know.
to
No.
talk about it.
That's a bad day.
I can understand that.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a relative that, he was in D.C., of course, Quantico area, but
Right.
a couple of days after 9/11, he was in New York with the president. Personally, with him that day. I had a former coworker who he was in the National Guard when I worked with him in Wilmington, but he went full-time National Guard. He was a colonel at this time on 9/11, and his office was across the way, not at the Pentagon. And he was sending me pictures. He had digital camera back in those days, even, which I said, I'll never do that. Oh, well, that's screwed up on saying that. But he had a digital camera, and he was sending me pictures of the smoke coming from the Pentagon. Everybody was shell-shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of us that like, what do we do now? Well, at the TV station, I had all the doors locked.
I'm telling you.
I mean, we were right down the street from the state ports, 15 miles downriver is a nuclear power plant.
There is a lot of good videos on just regular YouTube right now. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything on 9/11.
Yep.
And a lot of it. And I've been watching quite a bit of them because, you forget a lot of the things 24 years ago. But watching it, it just brings it back like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy.
I remember at the very instant, I had two TVs in my office. I'm sitting there watching, of course, I'm watching the Today Show. We're in the VC affiliate. And didn't have three TVs. I had two, but I had that one on. And then all of a sudden, I saw the smoke coming from I said, what is that building? And then I turned the volume up. I looked at stuff. I didn't listen to everything. The day was just getting started at 8:47. And then I see smoke coming from there, and then I turn it up, and I'm hearing Katie Couric and
Matt
Matt Lauer talking about probably they're saying a little plane. I said, look, the sky is clear. How did a little plane not miss that building? I mean, it's there. There's no reason it's not foul weather. It's not the first time that a plane has crashed into some stuff up there. But usually it was bad weather, and they were small planes. And I'm looking there.
1993 or something, one hit. Or one almost hit, a small one.
But they had, then I look at it, they said, that's just a small plane that's entered that building. Where's the plane? And that's way a lot of fuel up there burning. That's a lot of black stuff coming out of that building.
Well, something that we haven't mentioned, and a lot of people that you were just talking about that either were born right before it happened, right after it happened, and maybe don't remember this part. So we know about the Twin Towers, and we know about the Pentagon, but the crew and the passengers who took down those terrorists in Pennsylvania, where that jet was allegedly headed to Washington, D.C., and those people, one or two targets, but those people stopped it.
Yeah, they had a movie on Lifetime. I watched that last week And that was just, that was awesome what they
Yeah.
did.
You guys that didn't follow that, the plane, the fourth flight, it was there. They knew it was there. They knew it had been taken over, and they were tracking it, and they responded with fighter jets, unarmed planes. They didn't have time to get armed, which I think was a mistake. But they went up to intercept and see what could happen. And then the passengers aboard that plane, some of them on the phone, some of them had gotten word on the various air flight cell phones. They didn't care about the rules, violating any rules about cell phones. It didn't matter. And they knew what had happened, and they knew what was going down. The word spread. They stormed the cockpit. And the plane went down into a field in Pennsylvania, and everybody perished.
And they knew.
They knew what was going to happen. I saw the interview you're talking about and some of the stuff recently in the last 2 or 3 months. Pilots that were scrambled and said, we didn't have direct orders, but to get up there to see what we could do with the plane, but we all knew what we were going to have to do. We couldn't shoot it down.
There are a lot of heroes, a lot of true heroes.
Real heroes.
It's like I said, there's a lot of stories that you didn't even hear about or happened 24 years ago. You should go watch some of those videos and have a box of tissue with you.
Yeah. And I've been trying to get hold of the guy that I met the year after in April the following year, in 2002. He and another firefighter from New York were in the towers and fighting the fires, and they came to Wilmington as special guests for the Isaiah Festival. And so, I spent a whole week with them, and I never forget sitting outside on the floor in the Hilton, on the floor where we all had rooms, and they were autographing pictures for people and things like that. And I got a flag up there that they gave me. And the photograph that was a photo of the billboard where this one guy, Jerry Riley, lieutenant at the time, was taken. And I'll bring that thing back in here again tomorrow.
That'd be nice.
So.
And I think, I'll have to put her stamp picture up here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought I'd brought that in here. Yeah.
So anyway, that was it, and we'll talk about it again tomorrow. But what I want to do is I'd like to ask you guys for tomorrow, get in early, and there's some things we'll be doing. Of course, we're going to talk with Chris Miller about 8 o'clock, I think. Normally.
Yes, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll talk with Chris about 8 o'clock about what's coming up for sports, because everything's not gloom and doom.
No.
Nothing. The 9/11. I mean, that happened. It's over 24 years ago. We've found a chief thug, and he's become shark poop, and that's a good thing. And I couldn't have happened to a better excuse for a human being. It's unfortunate that it took until 2011 to get him.
Yeah.
And it's too bad that the only thing that if I had been Bush, the only thing that he really wanted his head delivered to him.
Yeah.
I would have done everything that I could to deliver the head and then show him for sure. Got it. I did have the distinct, I'll call it pleasure of having an interview with Rob O'Neill a few years back. Rob O'Neill is from Montana. He was a Navy SEAL. He is that SEAL. For about an hour one morning, we talked on the air. And he described about that whole situation, what went down on the day they went in to get bin Laden. Holy moly. I mean, I'm a cold-hearted individual. Y'all know that. Theo thinks I'm mean. I am. But the goosebumps that were all over me that day talking to Rob, I was like, amazing. I found it amazing that he was so willing to be identified. I think it was like, bring it on, is the kind of attitude that he had at the time.
They're tough.
So, yeah, he's tough. I wouldn't want to mess with him. Tap, 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 bang. You did. I was to drag your sorry butt downstairs and verify who you are, how big you are. You know how they got a picture. They didn't have, nobody had a tape measure because the guy, Bin Laden, was tall.
Yeah.
You know how they figured out how tall he was? One of the SEALs laid down beside the body to compare the height. And there's a picture of that. Not for release, but I know there's a picture of it. Yeah, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah. And a few years later, I was up there in a place called Langley and talking with some guys up there too and taking a nice little tour of the area. One young lady was very instrumental in locating Bin Laden.
Thank her.
And I didn't know her then that he had not, Bin Laden was still on the lam at the time. So, okay. We got to go. Tomorrow we'll be talking about 9/11. We invite you guys, if you've got any stories, even if just where you were and what you felt, how your life has changed, how your life was before and how your life is afterwards.
Right.
What changes have you made? I will tell you that in the world of broadcast news, when we did massive research projects, did one every year. And after 9/11, the top interesting news story was my safety, public safety. The only thing that ever outweighed public safety after 9/11 was severe weather as to whatever was most interesting or most concerning to people. And living in Wilmington, obviously severe weather was important. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Lee.
I've already looked.
Kilo Romeo 4 something, right?
I'll be looking. I'll be watching.
Kilo Romeo, I want to hear you tomorrow morning. I want to hear you. You can call me tonight too, even though it's not a network night. Kilo Romeo 4 something or another. I wonder what it's going to be. KR4 HAM?
KR for the best.
MOUSE.
Too many letters. How about just BST?
I want the EST.
Eastern Standard Time?
No, the bestest, the greatest, the craziest, the funniest, EST. Okay, we need to
Okay, we don't know what you're talking about, but it's okay.
There's people out there that understand.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure that there are.
Oh my goodness.
You're live and local, real talk where we're awake, not woke.
Have a blessed day.
Yeah, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye now.